All right. Welcome, everybody, to another market recap. Hope everybody had a good day today. The account personally is pretty flat. It says 28 up 28.35 here, but that could be red, all depending upon how the final bell goes in a couple of minutes here. So I do have to say this, though. I'm pretty impressed with performance from Tesla, Square, SoFi, PayPal, Arc Genomics. All of these have done really well today, and they've done a great job boosting up the portfolio. Almost even at break even on my Tesla calls, which I'm very excited about. Let me see. Luke Automata. Hi, Jesse. Thank you for everything you do for us. Hey, man, you are very welcome. Wild Frenchie, bonjour, as usual. Got a couple of MicroStrategy at the local bottom today. Pretty happy with my day trade. I think that actually could be pretty good. Again, it's all about tomorrow morning with the CPI and inflation at 7:30 in the morning Central Time. That's where it's going to be at. Smokey, what's up, man? Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, Tesla was really the big MVP with PayPal coming in second as far as pure dollar amount, and then SoFi coming in third, and then ArcG, and I don't know. I'm pretty excited if the inflation data comes in low, which I think it's going to be a pretty crazy day tomorrow. No, it's going to be really crazy. Trade up, not down. Hey Jesse, thanks for all the awesome alpha you provide. Thanks, man. I'm certainly trying to. Wanted to show you guys this real quick here. So I've got MicroStrategy, a lot of purchases with MicroStrategy. It shows 40 on here, but I bought 19 shares in another account, so really 59 shares picked up today. That's a decent chunk of change at around $1,400. Sub that today, and then I picked up just some dust of Nvidia. I'm trying to add to my semiconductor exposure, and I think Nvidia is my best play, but I want to do it really slowly, so I'm just kind of nibbling for now. And I bought more Flux today. It was down about 6% on the day. I think it ended up closing up higher than that, but I'm just nibbling on that one right now too. All right. On the shitcoin portfolio, I keep telling myself I'm done with making purchases, but I keep buying more. I did buy like 15,000 in Ethereum today, I think, and then I did buy some ICP about like 7 grand or something, and then I can't even remember what the other thing was. So I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew what it was. But yeah, so I stacked more in here too. I think that we're going higher with the all the altcoins have kind of pulled back over the last few months, and I've just been trying to stack into that so that I can hold for a year. I'll just have to remember when I made all these purchases, so I'm going to have to figure some of that out because, again, I don't like paying short-term capital gains. That's not the goal, so got to make sure I sell at the right times. The stock heat map, so all U.S. companies. If you look here, you can see it was a mixed bag of nuts, green and red. Money just exchanging hands for the most part. I think was what was happening today. And then for the risk on side, at least in the shitcoin market, it was pretty low. But again, they had a great run yesterday, so it's just money washing around until we get that inflation data. I think that's where the big moves come from. And then if we look at the S&P, again, you can see it trying to trend above this fib line. It hasn't really done anything, up 0.15% on the day. The NASDAQ, again, still getting rejected off the .618, the golden retracement zone. But it was actually fairly strong today, up 0.39%. So, and if you look here, there's a bunch of little wicks under here. It does seem like it wants to go higher, but that almighty inflation data is going to be where it's at. And so we had kind of a tweezer top over here just the other day, or I should say for the last few weeks with the Russell. But again, it bounced all right, up 0.34%, so just a little bit behind the NASDAQ. Not much to see here. I think, again, tomorrow's the interesting time. Now, oil is very interesting. We did break back down above our previous support, which I like seeing, down 1.42%. I'd like to see this continue to break down with some strength. So I'd like to see this go lower, or I should say with momentum. Because that's just relief on everybody, right? And if we get lower than expected inflation data tomorrow, which they're thinking, depending upon core or regular, that it's in the mid threes. If it comes in lower, and then we also see oil breaking down, that's going to be good stuff. Also, I was hoping / thinking that we would break down under the 100 moving average in yellow here, Again, the moving averages, the 50 is always purple, the yellow is always 100, and then the dark orange-ish brown is always the 200. So I use the top three moving averages. And it's rejecting, and I think if anything, it looks like a bearish pennant, and it looks like it wants to go lower. Maybe it turns into a bear flag too, but I do think it wants to go lower, and that would be ideal for markets, especially if oil's going down. All right. So fear and greed index, we're at 59, so we're still in the greed, but just barely. So we really kind of almost reset to neutral. So not a lot going on here. Definitely not as scary as it was. And if you look here, I don't know. I think this is a great way to fall down. It still shows a lot of strength to me versus like this rollover and then a little mini bounce and then a rollover. It's like right now we're just kind of trending up a little bit, trending down a little bit, but just nothing crazy. It seems like it's winding up for something. And then just a reminder that Trueflation still has us at what 1.82% with their official reported rate at 3.2. And I showed a little bit of this yesterday, but the sources for this data are really good ones. Again, JD Power, Zillow, Trulia, Car Gurus, AAA, Opus, EIA, Statista, and just a bunch more. And then again, you got some, Danielle's kind of a semi-bearish person. You've got a bunch of other names here, especially in the crypto space, talking about how great this is because it's using real data that it's getting from the sources. And I agree with that. And so again, if this is more right than the government data, we should see it coming down. And I just want to reiterate again that this thing was in the 12% for inflation when the government said we didn't even go over 10. So it's not like they're biased to one political party. It's just data. So if this is right, again, maybe we see things go down tomorrow. Now, I did want to show something real quick here. And it posted this earlier. It was just March CPI forecast for core and then headline inflation. And again, they kind of have us averaging. I mean, core still in 3.7-ish, and then headline in 3.4. And I think we could come in at the low 3% range. So I hope I'm right. If I'm right, we're going to see risk on like crazy tomorrow. Real quick, other data that came in today for economic data. We can see that the United States NFIB Business Optimism Index, so the optimism of businesses, the National Federation of Independent Business, is right near the same level that it was in October of 2008, which is near the absolute bottom of the GFC, Great Financial Crisis. So it makes you wonder, with business optimism being so pessimistic at this point, is this a low? And are we going to look at it turning around? I mean, that would be my guess. Otherwise, if we're going a lot lower, then that's pretty depressing. Because if we get much lower than the Great Financial Crisis. All right, one step back here. I want to show something else. All right. So this is the Redbook Index. And this is basically a sampling of like the top 9,000 retailers across the country, trying to look and see how sales are averaging, week over week. And the thing I wanted to point out here is that we actually closed at 5.4%, up from 5.2 in the previous reading. And if you go back a ways here, it actually looks like we're at the upper end of what was normalized. I mean, the pandemic, this big trough and then this big peak, you kind of have to take out of the numbers to get something more normalized. But if you take that out, like, it looks healthy. The retail sector looks healthy, just at a glance. And again, core inflation, and then just the inflation rate, CPI data, lots of stuff coming out. Really, people only care about the inflation, though. So 7:30 in the morning, be there, be square. It's going to be an important time frame. I also wanted to point out, too, it wasn't just crude that went down. Everything energy, pretty much, gas, uranium, propane, everything energy dropped today. So we're seeing a little bit of decline, a little bit of relief from the monthly numbers that were just like straight up across a lot of these categories. And we're seeing more weakness. Again, the monthly actually has uranium at 8.4, negative 8.42%. It's probably right, though. Uranium's had a heck of a run. If we go in here and we look at it and we go back a ways, I mean, you could see where uranium had its peak in like 2007, and then it just fell off a cliff. And then now we've come back quite a bit. So it's actually doing pretty good. But the rest of the sector, it's nice to see it go down. Let's just look at gasoline real quick because that's a big one, right? This is a big part of expense. So we're not too much higher than we were if you look back over here. So again, our peak, this doesn't show the peak because of just the view, the fact that I'm doing all. But in here it has this like 377. That's pretty close. But you can see where we got all the way down to like $2.13. So we're up pretty significantly from that. Hopefully we're finding a top. If we're looking at this as like regular technical data, we do have a lot of resistance over here at previous times. And again, these markets, the same kind of rules really apply. So at least from a technical standpoint, there's probably a lot of volume that was up in that range. And so it's acting as resistance. But hopefully we see this roll over like we saw oil rolling over. And then I doubt we have much for the CME bed watch tool today. So we'll skip it. That's going to get influenced by inflation data tomorrow. Real quick here, and then I'll start getting caught up with chat and go and start looking at requests once I get done with my stuff. But I wanted to talk about Bitcoin first. So BTIG stated that they believe MicroStrategy serves as the best vehicle for investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin because of its multiple, basically. Upside case of 2,700, 90K Bitcoin versus downside of 700. So they're talking about it over a very short time frame, but I just want to reiterate that it's not just a short time frame, it's across the board. It's going to be a great opportunity for people. So if you invest in that, you're probably getting a 2x what the underlying does. At least that's my take. Now, another thing here, a Japanese firm, Metaplanet, bought $6.5 million worth of Bitcoin, mirroring MicroStrategy's strategy. It's kind of redundant. But essentially, I think I've said this for a while, and I think we're seeing a trickle. Soon it's going to be a flood. You're going to see a lot of companies doing this. If nothing else, just because the stock gained 90% after making this announcement. I remember I don't remember if it was last cycle, maybe it was the one before, but you had dying companies like, I don't remember if it was Kodak or some, like just dying companies that were announcing that they were getting involved or just renaming themselves to something like blockchain or so, and then just exploding in stock price. So again, I think we'll see that in the more euphoric stage and heading into it, where you'll see more and more companies that are looking to boost their stock price by investing in Bitcoin because they can see the benefit of Bitcoin investing. They don't have the downside that they had before the FASB accounting rules that came into implementation at the beginning of the year. So now they're being treated fairly if they hold it, and then they can watch their stock go up a bunch. I don't know. That's kind of a win-win-win in my book. So I can see a lot more of that happening in the future. All right, let's go back. I want to hit a couple other topics real quick, and then we can move on. So Tesla, real fast. I just wanted to say I told you so in regard to prototyping vehicle operator jobs that are across a multitude of cities in the country. So I do believe that we're seeing two things. I think we're seeing this job, and I don't know what it's going to be for. I don't know if this is going to be for another autonomous vehicle, something like the Metro style that I was talking about in my Tesla video. Or if these are just people that are going to, be using full autonomous software, but at the same time kind of be in the vehicles as like a robotaxi type experience until they can get, regulations passed in local jurisdictions to have them be unmanned once they can show enough data. So I'm not sure which path. I lean towards the fact that they're going to be doing this with regular vehicles and not a robotaxi yet, right? Like I think the robotaxi for like a metro area is coming later. I think the Model 2 will also be one for just people that are, one or two seaters for the people that just want to have a super cheap ride. And I think it'll differ based upon the different models. And I think all Tesla vehicles will be it. But to me, Kevin, man, I'm sorry. Like, I think you're wrong. We're getting ready for this, and this is happening, and it's happening a lot quicker than people realize. Also, I wanted to point this out. Scott Jennings posted this. It just said, love seeing this type of engagement from Tesla, unparalleled. And it's from Drew Baglino. That last name always gets me. He said Cybertruck charge curve improvements are coming through an over-the-air update later this quarter to unlock 154 miles recovered in 15 minutes. So these Cybertrucks are just going to be able to charge much, much faster in this next quarter. So that's cool. People that bought their Cybertruck are already getting an upgrade. Like, I don't even know what to tell you, man. In the last 3 years that I've owned my Y, I think it's almost 3 years. It's been crazy how much better it's gotten over that time. It couldn't even drive in the city before, and now it can do all of that. It's just a sign of things to come. People underestimate technological advancement, especially when it gets towards the later stages of development, and they're doing that with Tesla at their own demise. So I wanted to PayPal. I got a bunch of stuff on PayPal today. So real quickly, it had a good day. We'll look at the chart here in a little bit. It's getting better all the time. I think I'm down like almost single digits on my PayPal investment, which was shocking because I was down like 40% at one point, maybe even closer to 50. So it's getting ready to be very profitable soon, and I've still got plenty of time for it to play out. So I'm excited about that. I still want to get my $1 to $2 million in gains. I'm shooting for that in the next 3 to 4 months. But I wanted to point this out. So quarterly transaction take rates for PayPal sure do look a lot healthier, like a healthier trend than they've been in a long time. I'm not sure I worded that well. But thank you, Ben Fluential X, for sending me this one directly. So again, if you can see this trend line here, it looks a lot better in the last 2 quarters, right? Like that take rate looks like a vast improvement and a shift in momentum. And I'm very intrigued to see what happens in the next earnings call. Also, Peru was shitting on PayPal today. I actually kind of love-hate Peru. He's pretty decent, though. But I don't always agree with him, but he's fun to talk to. But he was shitting on PayPal. And then Alex Chris apologized to him and said that he would have an expert speak to him, and then said to DM me directly with any other issues that he had. This is a good CEO. A good CEO is like Elon Musk, where you respond and you do it quickly. Yeah, I remember Kodak. Yeah, wasn't that great? There's just so many companies like that where it's like let's call ourselves a blockchain. But I just wanted to say though, like with PayPal, this is the kind of shit you do as a CEO. It's the Elon Musk approach of just like resolving shit on social media and not just and doing it in a direct way. Saying DM me if you have any further issues is a bold statement. And I've worked for shitty CEOs and I've worked for great ones, and the great ones say stuff like that. They do those kind of things, and it changes the image of the company. I don't have the post, but there was somebody else in that same feed that was like, I didn't like PayPal. I had some bad experiences with them years ago, and then I heard the whole like going woke thing, and so I've just stayed away. But wow, I might have to start taking a look again. That's the kind of stuff you want to see, man. Yeah, some people don't like him. Some people don't like Peru, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to pass too harsh of judgment on him, but I do argue with him a lot. But it's fun. All right, so Nathan Z, thank you for this, man. He posts about PayPal all the time. A lot of good stuff that other people don't see too, and it just says again about Alex Chris is a good boss who cares about his staff. Hope he'll give us shareholders a lot of care and love on April 30th. And it has a handwritten note to a staff member in here. And it says, Shane, wishing you a happy birthday, an amazing 2024. Enjoy your big day. And here's a gift, yada, yada, yada. Like stuff like this, when your customers think you give a shit about them and your employees think you give a shit about them, it's a good thing for your company. Real quick, this is in a company based out of Australia. It says 1.8 million NAB cards already added to the PayPal wallet. And I just said, hopefully we can see more and more integrations and partnerships with PayPal in the months ahead. And again, it's really cool stuff to see PayPal integrating, to see their take rate going up, to see greater use, better responsiveness, making their customers happy and their employees happy. That kind of stuff is cool. And I liked Alex Chris from the beginning, even with his fumbling. And I think he's doing a great job, and I'm excited about it. I really am. All right, one other thing. I'm going to pull up Hood real quick, and then we can move on. I just wanted to mention, too, that JPM Securities upgraded the price target on Robinhood from 25 to 28. They're pretty close. 28's about right. Also, there was an upgrade on SoFi. I think that might have even been yesterday. I'm not sure. There's so many things coming out. It's funny. I talk to people all the time about narratives, and narratives are very true. Like it's just the way it works. It's something when the price is down, the narrative is shit, and when the price is up, everybody's happy and loves it again. And it's just it's human psychology at its finest. It's a great way to make money if you find the ones that everybody thinks are shit, like Meta in 2022 and Tesla in 2022 and Bitcoin miners in 2022. If you find all the ones that everybody thinks are shit and you invest in them, like Palantir in March of 2023 when I bought in, you can make a shit ton of money by finding the ones that are good and not the shitty ones. Don't buy the shitty ones. That won't help you at all. But buying the good ones is cool. It's real cool. All right, I wanted to point out a couple of things. I didn't do a lot of chart posting. I was waiting on my KVM switch. I'm waiting on a streamer dock too. I'm trying to get my computers, since I'm running two now, I'm trying to get everything in order. And so I haven't done a lot of posting of charts. I'm going to try and do more of that tomorrow. But Tesla broke out of a 3.5 month downtrend. I'm sure that's probably bullish. It could reject still, and we could get a chop down, maybe one more test underneath, maybe that down towards that gap down here. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are expecting this quarter to suck. And what if the financials aren't as bad as the delivery numbers? I mean, the delivery numbers look like trash. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. All right, real quickly here. Let's look at, let's pull up Bitcoin related stuff too. We'll pull up MicroStrategy, all these others, and then jump over to some of the rest. So broke down underneath the previous downward resistance line. I don't think this is too crazy. We're kind of in no man's land still. So we're either going to break up or we're going to break down. It's all tied with inflation data tomorrow. And we got really optimistic about the inflation data yesterday, and now we're back kind of towards the median of this trend, right? Like we're right underneath the midline here. So, or the heart line. So it's pretty much at a normal zone. Will it go lower? Will it go up? We'll find out soon enough. 7:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. All right, MicroStrategy. I took the time to buy, like I said, about 60 shares. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's $80,000. Yeah, I think something like that. Today, while it was down, just because I like this pattern. We have, again, what did we drop in MicroStrategy from the peak to the current trough? We dropped, and we bounced some more today. We were down. I bought like around 8% for a decent amount of it. Seven maybe, 7 on average. But, this thing dropped 31%. It's a lot. It could go further if tomorrow sucks. 1200 range, totally. It's very possible. But if tomorrow is good, some short's going to get fucked on this one. Big time. And I think that rule applies with everything, right? It applies with CleanSpark. It applies with Cypher. It applies with Mara. It applies with all of them. I do like that we got a little baby bounce here. Again, but this is like an inverted, like a W bottom or a double top right now. So we got to see some love tomorrow. If inflation data sucks, this is going to be a quick ass drop. And here's the thing. So here's my plan for tomorrow. If inflation is horrible, I own a lot of different things, and I've got stock in a lot of different things, including like companies like Hood, because I closed down option plays just to remove that multiplier. I think it's a little dangerous right now. And for companies like Hood, if I've averaged 500 or 600%, like I've got no complaints. I'm okay if we only get like 60%, getting to 30 from here. It's been a great run. So I'd rather just be safe than sorry. And that way, if tomorrow shits the bed, I can always leverage into options plays if we get some really, painful moves tomorrow. And I don't even know if I would do that with miners. Nah, maybe I would. I don't know. The returns are such shit. I've looked at some of the options plays for miners, and they look like trash. I don't know if people just aren't looking at the options calculators or doing the math, but they look like shit. So I still don't even know if I'd do it. I'd probably just buy here because, again, just for it to get back to its previous high on CleanSpark, If we had one of these major washouts, it's 116%. And then the target that I have for this stock for like what it can do is 140. So that's a 1119% increase from that $11, range. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And you got to remember, I bought calls for this thing when it was in the dollars, right? When it was way over here. I bought calls over here. So it's like I gotta like stay away from the multipliers at this point. This was a good play. All the miners were a good play. Time to dial back the multipliers. All right, and all the rest kind of look like this. They all look like they have some level of support underneath of them, but they could fall more. I think CleanSpark though could fall harder than like a Cipher or a Bitfarms. Mara, I don't know about Mara. Mara might. Let's just take a look. I haven't looked at this one in a while. And I don't own any of this. If they have a good quarter, though, maybe I'll buy some. Yeah, so this one could fall hard too, right? Because it's right at the 200 moving average, which is normally like you want this to be the support zone, but it's got some pretty ugly charting that makes you think that it might not happen. So if the data sucks tomorrow, I mean, this one could gap down into the 11s too. This one could like at least to the 1380 range down to the 11s. It totally could. These miners could still get royally fucked. So it's going to be a fun day, man. We're going to have some craziness tomorrow, I'm sure. Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Can't wait. All right, so let's just hop through some others here. Let's get into the fintech side of things. SoFi, another great day. Did we get above the 50? Let me just see here. Up in after hours. This thing wants to scream higher. It looks like it's under the 50. It wants to break out. The .618's here too. If we get above this, like above the $8 range tomorrow, or 820, and we can establish support, man, it is no time until we break down of a downward resistance that started in November of 2021. So it should be interesting. It should be very interesting. I think this one is a rocket ship, man. I think we could get, we're already climbing pretty good. Told you guys I thought this was the bottom down here, and it sure was. But we got a 50% upside move. The options are going to rip if we start doing that. I'm very excited about it. I think it's coming. Again, if I'm right about inflation data coming in low tomorrow, I'm going to make a lot of fucking money in the next couple of months. A lot. All right, PayPal. Let's pull you up. PayPal today. Another 1% gain like clockwork. And what else did this do? Just like Tesla, we broke out of a resistance zone. This is a little wonkier, but if you look here on the weekly, technically this close on this week was way down here, so I can kind of ignore that little peak up here. But it's kind of an inverse head and shoulders, and the measured move for that gets us up like close to 100. And right there, I think I make $1.5 million from where I'm at right now. So that would be, and that's pretty cool, right? Like that's not that crazy of a move. I'm just going to move these up here real quick. I'll start, as I start looking at charts, guys, doing your requests, I'll start looking at current comments and the previous ones so I can do the chart requests. But I just want to focus on some of this stuff real quick and keep my thought. So again, for me to make $1.5 million, I need a 45% increase in PayPal stock, and not even a mean reversion. Really, the mean reversion is 69%. That gets closer to that 2 million mark, a little bit over, I think. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of money over a short period of time. And some of those are 2026. So some of those are, I'll sell out of the 2025s, obviously, right away. Or as I go up, those would be the ones I primarily sell. And then the 2026, I won't sell those until, unless I just make too much money. If we got up to the 137, 140 range, I'd probably sell out of those January 2026s too. Just because, if you make $3 or $4 million, it doesn't make any sense anymore to not just be in stock or to move that money elsewhere. All right, what else we got? I think Hood was down today. I almost thought about buying it, but I've already bought I think I bought 150,000 or something already. Let me see if I got that number over here. Yeah, almost perfectly. 148,920. So I already have some. So, but if it drops down though, like if we got to the 17 range, or even more ideally the 1657 because of something that happened tomorrow, I'd probably be buy some more stock. I'd jump into options later, probably like 2026 if it really got crushed and went down to 14. But I don't know how likely that is. That's probably wishful thinking. Somebody's trying to ring me like crazy. 1 second here. All right, let's pull up Palantir real fast. All right, so we are still underneath that previous resistance zone. It shows up a little better in the daily, but so it's ripe for rejection. But then also, again, if we get good inflation data tomorrow, maybe it doesn't mean anything. Everything seems to be like right on the line right now, really. That's just how it is. Let me see here. I'll pull up Square. Square had a good day. So Square continued to climb higher, above like peak volumes here, which is great. You can see the shelf right here. I mean, it's a big shelf. Let me switch actually to like weekly. Somebody's messaging me like crazy. I might have to just step away for 2 seconds. But again, you can see this big shelf. See this big shelf? We got all this support. So it's looking good. It looks like it wants to go higher. Give me just 1 second here, guys. I'm just going to see what this is about. I'm getting like rung like crazy. 1 second here. I'm just going to turn this off. Be right back. All right. Sorry about that. All right, I am back. Let me turn. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, block looks good. Still need to get above this previous trend line of resistance that goes back to August of 2022. And let's see what else we got here. Real quick, who am I forgetting that I want to look at? ARCG, yeah, I can't forget that one. All right, so ARC Genomics closed up today. I've been stacking this one lately, January 2026, I want to say. I might have some December 2025s too, I'm not sure. But I've been stacking this one, and I think we're getting to the point where we're going to start. Again, I keep saying this. I'm excited about the inflation data tomorrow, and I think it's going to make me a lot of money. And anybody else who's long in similar things like this. So, again, 3.3%. That's a beautiful day. Screams risk on to me for this. Really does. All right, let me just pull up some of these others too. So again, I bought some Flux today. Oh, and Enphase was up pretty good today too. I think that's popping on inflation data too. I think there's optimism that that we're going to do well, even though all the analysts have higher than normal targets. Flux though, I bought this down like 6% on the day. Found support on this previous fib. I think I bought it right over here. Did it with the limit order this time, just to be smart, and or a smaller amount. It might have been market. But now it looks like it closed down 4%, but then it jumped 2.1 in after hours. So I'm liking this right here. If we stay above that fib, I think we tried to find support over here. Seems like we're trying to find it again right here. If we could do that and then get above these volumes in the fives, then I think this one might actually at least have a run to the 750 range, which would be nice. I mean, that's a heck of a run. And let me pull up Enphase. I know I don't talk about this one much, but I've just been noticing the price action lately. And something else that I should probably point out, I think the semiconductor space seemed like that was taking a strong hit today. Here's what I like here. I like this base of support and getting up near the peak volume again. This could totally get crushed tomorrow, but there seems to be some optimism there. And it looks like, it could theoretically be an ascending triangle. And the measured move for that is probably testing us up to like 184. So a decent uptick. Just another sign, I think, that people are getting interested in rates and thinking that they might be improving. All right, real quick, Matterport. If we look at Matterport here, it closed down almost 4% on the day, but then it's up 1% in after hours. Thought about buying some. I'm trying to get options here, but there's still, I got my contracts for like 31 cents, and I've got it set for more buys at 35, but it just, again, it skyrocketed from before and then came back down to a more reasonable level. And so I'm trying to get in at some cheaper levels, but if I can't, I might just settle for a higher number. I do want more because I do think that this company is going to start doing good in the months ahead, and I want to participate in that. And I don't have enough. I think I only have like 20 something grand right now, and I really want to get the position to like 50,000. It's kind of like 20 is like I'm interested, and 50 is like more interested. So I'd like to get there. DLO is close to getting above this peak volume again, and then again, all the volumes will be underneath of us. This looks like a very like stair step bottoming pattern where you can see maybe another move up into the 20s, 26 range maybe, and then test down over this fib before trying to go much higher towards the 39 level. So I really like DLO, and again, I should show this too. Global liquidity. I'm going to talk about that either in another video tonight, or I'll bring it up in tomorrow's session. But global liquidity increased too. I can't remember if it was this last month by like 1.7 trillion. I don't remember all the metrics right off the top of my head, but it did look good. Even though we think that April's going to have some issues, a lot of that was driven by like the U.S. Treasury and and Japan, and I can't remember what other area, but I want to bring some of that research to you from Michael Howell with Cross Border Capital. It's good stuff, and global liquidity going up by a pretty decent tick is helpful for markets. Let me see, what else do I have here? Did I pull up Flux? I don't remember. Did I? I think I fluxed. Did I flux? I'll start looking at chat here. All right, Flux. No, we did. We talked about that. We did this one. Come on, guys. All right, so let me go up here. Start at the top because I can't think of. I'm sure I'm missing something, but whatever. We'll call it good. Oh, the semiconductor space. I do want to show that real quick. And let me see. Do I have semiconductors in a watch list? I got to build out these watch lists more. No, I don't. No. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to pull up a couple of these real quick. Oh, you know what? I might actually have the heat map for it. Let me go back. Was that over here? Yeah, okay, perfect. So over here in the electronic and technology, let me just pull that up. So NVIDIA got hit pretty good. I don't know if I can see SMCI got hit again. And this actually, their chart looks kind of ugly. It looks like, if you look at it here, it looks like a shoulder, maybe a head, another shoulder. So that one doesn't look pretty. Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA looks a little cleaner. Again, we had a high of 950, and now we're down in here in the 8s. But yeah, the semiconductor space was taking a little bit of a hit. Outside of Intel, you can see ARM down. So I think some of this is good, though. I think it's good that we're kind of seeing some of that flatten out and some of the exuberance in that area maybe taking a pause. It would be great if it doesn't crash so much, but we see like some measured amount of money looking to be allocated elsewhere, because again, like some of these plays, when you're in the multi-trillion-dollar space, like $2.134 trillion, there's not a lot of upside there, but that money could make a major difference, like let's say in diversified between small caps or companies like PayPal, SoFi, ArcG, all these things that have just been really beat up. So it could make a big difference there, and even just Bitcoin, really, all the inflows coming in. All right, so let me get started at the top here. So Rishab, hey Jesse, I'm based in Singapore, so I can't catch you live. Could you please take a look at Kupang? Thanks. Yes, I can. All right, CPNG. Oh, no, don't have it. All right, let me go over here. 1 second. Make a copy, CPNG. All right. and then I'll try and keep caught up in the comments here too. Just one second. Coupang. I should actually do this differently. Let me do this way so I'm just paying attention to both. All right, this one's actually looking pretty bottomy. Let's look them up and see what they do. It's a $34 billion company. Let me see here. Visual stocks. CPNG. One second, I'm just going to move this. All right, revenue looks good. Wow, net income shot up a lot. $1 billion out of 6.5 billion in revenue. Expenses aren't too bad. Cash, wow, this is looking good. This is what you want to see. Cash pile going down, cash pile going up. Who is this company? Internet. So this is Seoul, Korea. Nice, man. Internet retail. I'm curious. I want to see what this is. Coupang Inc. is a leading e-commerce company in Asia, known for transforming customer experiences with services like same-day deliveries. So it's like Amazon. Expanded presence with offices across major cities, including Beijing, Los Angeles, Seattle, Seoul, Singapore, Shanghai, and Silicon Valley. Okay. Interesting. Let's look at estimates. Growth 23% year over year. Not a bad number. EPS is going to drop a little bit, so there must have been some one-time thing that happened last quarter. But the revenue growth looks good. I mean, we're talking almost $7 billion here soon. Insider activity, they've been selling. Let's look at the extended view here. Nobody's really bought since 2021. Institutional ownership just ticked up. Short interest is very low, 2.32%. There's not much to see there. It doesn't look bad. I like the fact that revenues are outpacing expenses. What is their stock? Oh, it's not bad, 2%. Huh, interesting. But what is this, a $34 billion market cap? And they're normally making like 100. Yeah, so they're not super rich in valuation. 25 PE. They could probably double from that. The chart looks like it's got some bounce in it. I would say it could bounce up to like this next volume here. Maybe the 25 range is a good number for it to go to. But the valuation is not super cheap. It's pretty cheap for a tech company. So again, I think it could maybe get up to 29 pretty fairly too. So somewhere in between here, like 25 to 29, before maybe it pauses. But yeah, it can definitely jump from here. It can definitely jump. Here, let me draw. Let me just see. I'll do it a fib. Let me see fib. Maybe I'll just do a fib retracement from down here. It's probably better because I don't really have a good. Yeah, it doesn't have enough history for me to do too much. Yeah. So again, I think maybe this 25 range. Up here around 29, maybe around here, maybe it even gets to the .618 and then it takes a breather. But not a bad looking company. All right, 1 second here. Let me see what I got. The Kaiser Clinic. Jesse, could you spend some time explaining how you select your strike price on your leaps? Maybe a little window into your process. I actually do that. It's in my options video. I do that by the price, though. I usually look for what my targets, like what I believe the most realistic target could be over a period of, like, let's say the next 6 months to a year. And then I'll buy options that are actually further out. But I look for kind of that range. I want to try and get it to what I believe is going to be the most realistically obtained in that time frame. And then I use the options chain data from like NASDAQ.com or MarketWatch. But it's all in that options video, so check that out. Raghu Venkata, please check Micron, and what's your take on this company on long term? Thanks for all your work and help to the community. I can do that. I don't know if I have Micron, but I'll just make a copy here. I'll call it Micron because I don't remember what the symbol is off the top of my head. If you guys know the symbol, do like a $sign and then the symbol. It helps me out a little bit. MU, okay, there you go. I probably have that one. I'm imagining Micron has benefited from all of the chip stock stuff. But let me see here. Yeah, I would say that's a safe bet. It's actually been doing great since 2008. What are we? We're a $135 billion company. That's a lot. In March, it was 31.28, and then it got up to 129. It's a pretty good jump. Let me see here real quick. Let me do a trend-based extension off of this. Up to here, back down to here. That's about right. So it looks like it's trying to find support on this fib level. But again, it's a $136 billion company. Let's look at their actual revenues if we want to figure out more. And just look at all the other metrics. Like PE, because it's quick and easy and right in front of me. Wow, they didn't have a lot of good quarters as far as making money. Massive R&D expense. They're trying. 1.2 billion in loss, 1.4 billion in loss, 1.9 billion in loss, 2.32 billion in loss. What do the estimates look like here? So we had a massive drop after 2022, and now the estimates are ticking up. Profitability is coming back. Looks like maybe they're going to start making almost $1 billion a quarter, which is not horrible, but still not great. It's not great considering, 2023 they lost almost $6 billion. And again, they have more debt than cash nowadays. That was kind of an ugly trend that started in 2022. They've had some shareholder dilution. What's their activity look like? Haven't really seen strong buying, insider buying, since Q4 2022. They used to buy a lot more, so it seems like when the ticker was down a bunch, they thought it was a great deal, and then when they made a bunch of money, now they're not interested in purchasing. So I mean, if they're not interested in purchasing, is it really that great of a deal for you? I mean, I don't know. What's their stock-based comp? Kind of reasonable. It's a big company though, 3.66%. That's still a lot. I don't know. I just don't know why they dipped so hard in revenue, and I don't know if their revenue is guaranteed to be really great going forward. For a semiconductor play, I would think Nvidia is a cleaner bet, personally. I mean, this one's pretty played out. I love the bets where, you can make a bunch of money from things dropping really hard. And this doesn't, or from things that have dropped really hard, let me correct myself. This doesn't really seem like one of those. You ought to know. Look at Riley. Is this O'Reilly? Is this like a motor parts? Riley. Let me see here. What was that? I actually need to memorize these tickers because I'm a little screen. RILY. I don't think I have that one, so I'm going to make a copy. B. Riley Financial. Don't know what it is. Wow, down 11%. What else did you have to say? You didn't say anything else about this one, did you? Huh. Any clue as to what's going on? You ought to know. Come on, man. You ought to know. Let me see here. So it is, it's trying to drop hard, but it's finding support on peak volumes. This does appear to be a pattern. It's been on the low end of the RSI for quite a while. But what is it? A $718 million company. I just need to see what this actually looks like. I need more data. Can't really judge too much right here. Let me see here. Revenue, okay. Net income's negative recently. Really great trend. Shitty trend for 2022 and 2023. Becoming pretty indebted when looking at the yearly estimates. Doesn't have anything. They've had some people believe in the company and are buying some. Not a lot of sales. Institutional ownership's ticking up. Short interest is that a percentage? 70, what? No. What? 76%? Can that be right? So this is mostly insiders and institutional investors, and then a little bit of retail. Not a lot, a ton of visibility into it. Their debt is went up a lot. $5.2 trillion bonds. This looks like a bankrupt company. I mean, they look like they're on the edge of it. Does not look good. Yeah, man. I don't love this. I don't love the indebtedness. I think this is a bad stock. It's probably been beat up for a reason. Sean Castorano. Hi, Jesse. Curious what your opinion on covered calls. I don't really play with them much. I know some people love them as a vehicle. It's not, I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'm so simple. I'm a simple human being. I like long calls and long puts, and I don't really fuck with the rest. I don't want to be going in too many different directions, and I don't want to overcomplicate things. So I don't touch them. Also, Kathy loaded up on some T-Doc that we discussed yesterday. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking for a position yet. I think I could wait another quarter, but it's interesting that she's buying in. Matt Nintendo. Hi, Jesse. Loaded up on some MicroStrategy today with a drop. Could you share a bit on how long you plan on holding, given that BTC sidetracks goes to 90K for a drop? I'm holding. I'm probably. It varies. So MicroStrategy is one. The Bitcoin miners, my long-term trade accounts with shitcoins, all that kind of stuff. I plan on holding for. I mean, really, probably for at least a year. A lot of that stuff, and unless it becomes super overextended. I should say my long-term ones I hold for at least a year. And then like some of my other Bitcoin miners and IRAs and stuff like that, I might trade them as vehicles. The vehicle I plan on trading the most though is MicroStrategy because it swings. It's going to swing really hard in both directions. So if it gets super overextended, it'll be something I can dial out of just to get extra cash, with a pretty good chance of it being able to do a 30% drop or more because of the amount of short interest. Because there's going to be people fighting this thing tooth and nail. There's that 2x short trade that I was showing you yesterday that's coming online. So I don't know. I'll be trading MicroStrategy a lot. And I'll talk about it daily. And again, I'll talk about it in the market recaps too. So if you guys are around, you'll get to hear plenty. All right, my screen jumped 1 second here. Albert Pav, hi Jesse. You've said that your SoFi price target nearest term is $12. That's like my short term one. It can go higher. What's your price target? 5 to 10 years? Oh, probably much higher. Much higher. Just because their growth rate is so much better. I'm going to focus less on the chart here. I'm just going to pull up the actual data here for the growth. Just looking here, I mean, look at the member growth, look at the growth in products. Galileo accounts are doing all right. Revenue segments are growing. Total loan originations, even in this environment where student loans, which was a huge portion back in like 2018 or 2019, it was like the bulk, right? And even in 2020, it was the bulk by far. And they haven't had the luxury of any of that, right? But when you compare this company to other companies in the banking sector, so you got, this is percentage of growth, right? Percentage of growth. I think year over year, but percentage of growth, and you got SoFi averaging in the 80 percentile range, and then you have all these other major banks in like single digits for the most part. It's just not comparable. This is a massively growing bank, and I think that can continue. I mean, again, revenue growth year over year was 41% for these guys. Even if it was in the mid 30s, it's a great value, especially now that we're seeing, positive net income and guidance for that. You got to ignore this big wick down on that income. That was like some one-time stuff. Everybody kind of clears their shit out before they expect their company to be profitable going forward. Just to make the numbers nice and solid and clean and get it to where the stock price, pumps off of it. So this is a pretty common thing to see. But again, I think it's very positive. Here, 1 second, I just got to do one thing to get my screen to where it's more visible. And then, yeah, let's take a look. What else you guys got? All right. Albert, love your videos, man. Thank you, sir. Daily listener, I appreciate that. Jason G, INSP, please. All right, I will do that. I don't think I have that here. So let's look at it here maybe first. Inspire Medical. Nice looking. Nice looking. 40% growth year over year. No debt. Operating expenses are kind of petering out, or at least starting to flatten more. Revenue looks tight. Net income spiked. 14 million. This is a $7.2 billion company, though. So it is pretty well valued. Institutional ownership jumped last quarter, too. Not seeing a lot of sales, not a lot of buys. So, again, just probably people getting paid with stock and then selling it to survive. Short interest is not crazy high. I don't know, though. I do like this separation between revenue and operating expenses. I think that is nice. And I love the way this company's going. I love that it looks like they're starting to get close to profitability, still diluting shares, but the revenue, it's still got to go. Like 7.2 billion is a pretty fair number. That is the only thing that keeps me less interested in this. Is just what they're getting priced at. Oh, I forgot. I got to do it. Make a copy here. INSP, was that right? I'm dyslexic. Let me see. INSP, no, I got it right. Cool. All right. And let me start paying attention to chat more here too. The live chat. Caleb suggested MicroStrategy. I know he does that. I actually like Caleb. I think he's really smart. And but he's not. He doesn't seem to understand miners. Or at least that's my take, right? And I was a miner, and I understand the sector, I think, pretty good. I was a miner in 2017 to 2018, 19. So I think I understand it well, and I don't think he does. But he's brilliant and really smart on a lot of other stuff. Again, I look at it this way. MicroStrategy is a 2x multiplier for Bitcoin. I think that's proven out pretty good. And MicroStrategy has outperformed a shit ton of the miners, right? That was a play that I probably didn't see coming a year ago. And even though I had long calls on MicroStrategy, I wish I would have kept them because I did not see MicroStrategy doing as well as they have. But it kind of makes sense that it's going to be a multiplier to the upside, and 2x seems to be kind of what I believe the prevailing number is going to be, because I'm actually taking away because of previous outperformance when I come up with that multiplier. Because it's going to be like, again, if you're already operating at a 2x premium versus your underlying, or less than that now, but close to it, you could maybe get to 3x the underlying, but there will be some degradation on the performance versus what it's already done. So I look at MicroStrategy as a 2x multiplier, and I look at the good miners as a 3 to 4. So I will differ with Caleb in regard to that, and I will be right. You tell him that. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I think this one, it looks good. It looks like it's kind of found a base, and maybe it can go up. I wouldn't expect it much above 300, though. It's just this is already a good valuation. So unless this company really starts crushing expectations, it's already done really well. All right, let me look over here. Albert, SoFi. Gotta keep my place better here. I need to organize. LB, would love your thoughts on this clip, which says the U.S. is now reporting inflation differently to make it seem better. No, I don't think that's true. So I think people get really political when it comes to economic data points. I think, if anything, inflation is being overreported and will show lower numbers. Now, there's areas of inflation, like the numbers were fucking horrible. We were reporting like 9.6 or 9.8 for the highest level of inflation rate, of our inflation rate, back in like 2022, whatever it was. And I think that was bullshit. I think we were in the 12%, maybe 13% range. But now sites like Trueflation show us sub 2, and I would side with that over the other data. And again, I think there's some, like people on the right will want you to think that inflation is higher, and people on the left will want you to think it's lower. And the truth is probably normally not on either side, or for very brief periods, they're both, one of them is right versus the other. But I try to really stay out of the political stuff, but I don't think that that's right. I'd be happy. And I don't see any links that you guys post here, unfortunately, just because we don't want people to click on something that's like a virus or trying to steal their fucking crypto wallet or some shit. So I can't look. So if you want to, you can tell me your actual X ID if I already don't LB have you listed as somebody who can communicate directly with me, and I can add you, and that way you can send me whatever you have, and I can look through it though. Lisa Marie, hi, would you please look at and discuss your thoughts on Grayscale, LTCN, and BCHG? Don't touch anything else from Grayscale for these non-ETFs. They're fucking crazy. Like, they have a Sol one too. I don't know what the premium is right now, but it's fucking stupid. A lot of these operate at premiums that are higher, way higher than they should be. I don't know if these are particularly that, but with me not doing research into that, and you probably not even realizing that it could be at a premium. I mean, I think the Sol one was as high as 600%. 600%. Their underlying assets that they hold. That's frightening shit. So I don't know what these look like, but yeah, just don't. I wouldn't touch them. And plus, you don't want Litecoin exposure or whatever the fuck BCH. I don't know if that's Bitcoin Cash. If it is, stay the fuck away from that garbage too. You don't want either one of those things. Either one, the underlying or the investment from Grayscale. ABC 789 Hodl. Good evening, all. What's up, brother? If you have time at some point, MicroStrategy already did. Luis Martinez, wonder if TMDX will be better investment seeing past the inverse head and shoulders. I don't know, man. That's an interesting one for sure. And it does look enticing. I just got to do further research. Ellie Cadron, Apple, please. Yeah, we could pull that up. I never pulled that up, so let's do it. I think I do have it. Last time I looked at it, it looked like trash. I'm not going to lie. It looked like a breakdown was getting ready to happen. So, yeah, it looks like I even drew a line of what I thought the breakout would be, or breakdown would be. So, we're right up here. We're under the 100 moving average on the weekly time frame. If I look at the daily, we're under the 200 moving average, which is not super great. You don't want to stay under here for long. And again, we're under peak volume, which is the really bad part, because we don't have a lot of strong volume again until like doesn't even start to hit a real good shelf until maybe the 160 range, and then down to like the 150 range. So this thing can still drop a lot from its $200 high. I mean, that's not a crazy move. And again, they have dividends and they've got a large cash position and yada yada. But I think the growth narrative is fucking destroyed for Apple. And I don't see it getting better anytime soon. And so they got a PE of 26. Probably could even go lower, maybe, if people remain pessimistic on it. China's hurting them, and it will hurt them. Because they can't, it's not like they're built, and their China market is like, they build it there, and it's for there, and there's not a lot of surplus for them to ship to other parts of the world. Whereas, like, Tesla and Elon Musk and their Teslas, they could ship to other parts of the world and offset some of their risk, but like Apple doesn't have that luxury. So that's the thing I hate about them. I just they've got a lot of bad narratives sitting in front of them. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, if you at some point, all right. Well, Frenchy bonjour as usual, my friend. Got a couple of MicroStrategy at local bottom today. Pretty happy with my day trade. Until it gets lower. If CPI number of ad tomorrow, yeah, if the CPI drops tomorrow, then we're fucked, right? Then we're going to lose a bunch of money, but that's okay. As long as you're prepared for both outcomes, mentally, that's what matters, and hopefully financially. Luke Automata, hi Jesse, thank you for everything you do so far for us. You're welcome. Drew S, INTL, thoughts please. Fundamentally, I hear poised to become next huge foundry, similar to Taiwan Semi. Yeah, Taiwan Semi is getting, they had some news about it, some huge foundry here in the United States too. INTL, let me look them up. Don't know much about them. I don't think I have them. Nope. Okay. All right, I haven't touched the mic hopefully today. I'm trying to not molest the microphone and mute myself. So hopefully that's going all right. Northern Lights Fund Trust 4 main international. Is that not it? What is this? Where's INTL based out of, man? Let me see here real quick. What's going on with all the miners? I don't know. What is going on with them? I didn't really pay much attention today. Last I checked, they were like, meh, up, down, nothing too exciting. I mean, Bitcoin dropped a bunch in the last 24 hours, right? Almost 4%. So miners, I think, I've got to say, actually have fared really well recently. If anything, they're showing strength. But tomorrow, the inflation data will move them all over the place. All right, INTL. What is that one again? Can you help me out here, bro? Let me go back. Who has that? Drew S. INTL. I'm looking here. I'll go with Northern Lights Fund Trust. I mean, this doesn't seem right at all. No, this doesn't seem right. INTC. Haha, that would make more sense. I've got this wasted ticker here. All right. Yeah, that makes more sense, though. You're right. It's probably Intel. And Intel will have a strong foundry business, too. They've gotten their ass handed to them recently in the stock. Or I should say they did. Yeah, they've kind of been all over the place, right? They look like, honestly, I think that it's going to continue this cup and handle. There's so many billions that are going to be flowing into these guys. They've had some shitty guidance, though. Again, this is like a $162 billion company that's barely making any money. I mean, more recently it got better, 2.6 billion. You can't say that's barely. These guys, though, were doing great up until Q1 of 2022. They had that kind of like increase from the chip shortage, I think. But then everything fell off a cliff and they died and they just never came back. And then they've got so much pressure because it seems like people are moving more towards the NVIDIA-based, AI graphic type card versus just, regular Intel chips and server chips and things like that. So it just doesn't seem like they're doing as well. But let's look at estimates here. Yeah, see that these are not great revenue numbers, and it's just not a good outlook. So yes, there is that narrative there, but I mean they are a $162 billion company, and I just can't tell you why right now. Because the numbers don't look great. I don't know. I'm not interested in Intel. I used to be, based off that same narrative that you were talking about. I used to get very excited about Intel. Based upon all the money. But you look, sure, they're getting up billions of dollars from the government, but like if they were just doing well, they could be making more than that a quarter in revenues, but they're not. So hopefully their foundry business does kick off, but it just seems like it could flounder for another quarter, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, until they start building these things. I mean, once they start building the foundry and do work, but that's years from now, right? Smokey, what's up? Not much, man. Just hanging. Trade, up, not down. Hey, Jesse, thanks for all the awesome alpha you provide. You're very welcome, my friend. Smokey, hopefully CPI won't kill it'll kill everything. You said SoFi in here, but it'll kill the momentum of everything. If it comes in even just at the levels they're talking about, or God forbid, higher, it will not be good for risk on. Not at all. James at Invest Answers usually refers to setting traps. Yeah, he does like to say that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with these guys tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Or see what happens with inflation and just everybody tomorrow. Jason Locke, CNHI, can you do that one? They manufacture agricultural and construction equipment like tractors and excavators to support farming and building projects. Jason, do you know if they do that just here or do they sell internationally too? I'd be very curious to know that. All right, CNHI, let me pull them up. I don't think I have them. So I'm just going to go straight to make a copy here. Don't get a lot of people running an ag lately. Let's see, James Code. Jesse's commented on SoundHound before. I don't believe he's a fan. No, not really. Did a visual stocks review on him. True. Jesse, surprised you don't have any SaaS exposure. Yeah, I mean, kind of. You're talking about software as a service? I kind of do. I mean, I got Tesla. I got Palantir. These are going to be some of the biggest software as a service companies in the world. All right, sorry, CNHI, let me pull you up. All right. Definitely a bottoming pattern, man. The question is there any life here? It's been going on for a while. I mean, since 2002. That's a 20-year bottoming pattern that we have underneath of us. So is that getting better? Let's see what the company tells us. Company tells us that they're losing 2% revenue year over year. If we go to the yearly view, it doesn't look bright at all. Net income looks better, though. So it looks like operating expenses are part of that. They've controlled operating expenses well, but revenue has not done great. And what are they netting a year here? 2.3 billion, $16 billion market cap. That's interesting. But guidance is lower. Huh. So I think people are afraid that there's no growth here, and that's what's keeping the valuation so low. I don't know what the rest of like, I don't pay attention to like the agricultural and industrial sector very much. I imagine there's some fears. I don't know if these guys do international. So they're based out of London, Great Britain. So they probably do. Yeah, I don't know. European companies can be rough, and I just don't know if they do business internationally too. Like I don't think China's going to be doing well, man, and Europe's probably not doing well. Do they sell to the U.S.? Maybe we're doing better. I just don't know. Their forecast doesn't look great. It is a cheap valuation, so if that was going to improve a lot, this company could do better. But right now, I'm just like, I don't know. Zeke Desay starter pack. Thoughts on buying Uber puts? Another idea selling CLSK covered calls. Again, I'm not the covered call expert. I probably wouldn't do anything like that for miners though, because I mean they're going straight up soon. I don't know if it's a couple months from now, but they're going straight up, and I don't like doing any positions that aren't going to be long, at least a year. Not really my thing. Now, puts on Uber, you could take a look. I haven't. That actually is something I was going to add to my notes, though, so let me do that. Uber, check out short play. I've been meaning to do this stuff more over the weekend, but I just have not found enough time to get her done. All right, let me see what else is coming up here. So I'll take a look at that. Probably won't do it during this stream, but I'll take a look. Zeke. But yeah, I don't know. Clean Spark is going up soon. Justin, Jesse, what do you think about the price of silver hitting new 52-week highs consistently? Commodities rising isn't actually, it doesn't have to be bad for equities. I think it speaks of fear and risk and concern of money printing. But it doesn't necessarily mean there's actual demand there. It's just a place for people to store money. I don't know if it's a sign. I do think that it's a sign that some people have that fear. But I don't know if it's an actual sign that's going to hurt equities. I think actual useful commodities going up is what matters. And today we just saw gas and oil breaking back down. We saw the dollar weakening a little bit. I think that we could see more of that. But if for some reason oil keeps going higher, that's the one I would pay attention to. Less about gold and silver, honestly, because Bitcoin's probably going to go up too, right? We had shit tons of inflation, and we're probably going to continue to at least have monetary inflation where we're printing tons of money. So all assets are going to go up. But the ones I fear are oil and gas. Those are the ones I don't want to see continuing to go up. So that's where I would focus my attention, honestly. That and again, staples, like if you're looking at, agricultural and stuff like that. Let me see here. Do I have that in here? I think I inadvertently closed it instead of pulling it up. But yeah, other staples too, like ag-related items, things that people commonly buy across the counter. You just don't want to see staples going up and inflation happening in those, but definitely not oil and gas. All right, Kevin Stober, good question. Okay, well I answered it. Hopefully it was a good answer. Kyle Wright, you might have done it already, but can you take a look at our girl Pelosi's stock crowds? Oh yeah. CRWD, if you haven't yet. I can. 1 second here. And I'm pretty sure I have that one. At least I should. Yep. I think I got all the Pelosi stocks. So this one, just at a glance, looks like it wants to go down to the .fib at the 281 level. But I don't know how good CrowdStrike has been doing it. Or at least I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say Let me see here. I want to say it was Chop on their financials. It's like not great. 33% growth. A lot of these metrics look good. Revenue kind of looks flat over the last several quarters, which isn't great. But net income's going up. 53 million in a quarter is not bad. Cash is going up. Debt's going down a little bit. A lot of these look good. I think it's the valuation that I struggle with. It's a $75 billion company that is just barely becoming profitable. Now, it could grow a lot, but this PE ratio says 856. So yeah, that's high. 78 forward, still high. So to me, it's a really rich valuation on a company. I don't know. I just couldn't. I like to bottom feed, man. This is not my stock for sure. Slim Shady, great recap so far. Awesome, man. Hopefully I don't think I fucked up the mic yet. Jermaine Lambert, yeah, Kodak, I remember. Ja Kingdom Sounds, Peru is a cryberry baby. Yeah, okay. Sealess, that's a guy too, not the country. Sealess, a fair bit of my BTC is stuck in PayPal. What do you mean stuck in PayPal? What do you mean by that? Jason G, look at Path. I looked at Path a few times. Let me see here. I'll just pull it up over here first. Because I probably don't love this company, I think. Let me see, 31% growth over. All right, 12.3 billion and just starting to become profitable. $33 million in a quarter. Estimates, I think, were getting just a hair better. So that all looks good. The thing I struggle with is the $12.3 billion valuation. Not as bad as CrowdStrike, but I mean, again, if we're just going to meander between positive net income and negative, it's definitely factoring in future growth, right? And albeit 31% is not a bad number, it's probably overpriced in my opinion. So I won't pull up more of that unless you need more. Sealess, so I'm tied to them, don't like them, but I own the stock. What do you mean by that? Is that still in regard to can't get the BTC out? Do you mean you just bought it there and they don't have a way for you to be able to move it out? Like you can't send it to an external wallet? Pietro Serra. Clove is one of the Shema SPACs. Medicare Advantage company with a SaaS aspect. CEO previously sold the company to Google before joining Clover Health. What do you think about the chart? I think had them on my list. I don't know if it made it over to my digital. I gotta consolidate all my lists. I have not been managing my list as well as I would like. I just have not done a good job, but I know I'm capable of it because I used to have to be a project manager. So I need to get my shit together and get on it. So let me see here. I think I have looked at this before. It's not making money at all. Negative 70 million in this last quarter. 10.5% short interest. Lots of retail ownership. So again, these SPACs, the horrible thing about these SPACs is they pumped them out to retail, trying to get them to, soak up a bunch of money so they could sell right away and then profit before the markets collapsed. It was just a really shitty move. Chamath did a lot of those. I love Chamath, but I really feel like he just raped and pillaged with those SPACs. I do not admire the way he handled that stuff. I don't like it when people take advantage of other people. And I really feel like that's what happened. Stock-based comp is still 6.56%. It's a decently high number. We haven't seen a lot of institutional buyers since 2023. I'm sorry, insider buyers. And institutional is down, short interest going up. This just looks kind of like a shit show. Revenues are dropping substantially. Still losing money. This is a no-go, man. And what is it valued at? It's probably a multi-billion-dollar stock still. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Let me refresh here again. No, it's 363 million. That seems about right. I mean, this company doesn't look great, and they don't have a lot of debt, but the cash position doesn't look good. I just feel like I can imagine what this looks like if I try and pull this up. This chart probably just looks like pain and suffering. Yep, called that. So, That sucks, man. Like, it sucks if you were somebody who got spacked and you bought this thing for fucking $28 and then had it turn into a penny stock. Sucks. But I wouldn't buy it. I see nothing here that's interesting at all. That is my honest take. And the fact that they're like focused on Medicare is even worse. I mean, half that stuff isn't even sustainable. Social Security isn't sustainable. Medicare and Medicaid aren't sustainable. It's just like, that's just a nightmare in the future. Sealess, I bought MSTR and Flex today. Cool, man. Same here, bro. Spiffy Man, Jesse, do you ever do pair trading? Like, I don't like to, that's just like arbitrage to me when you're doing pair trading. I am too lazy for it. I'm all for people doing it. I know James from Invest Answers likes to trade pairs. I'm not really much of a trader. I know, again, I reallocate and do trading in an IRA account, but I just do that based upon very simple methods and mentality. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I'm just not as ambitious as I used to be. It could be the retirement. I don't know. Wild Frenchie, Jesse, how did you get the bottom indicator for what looks like retail institutional buying? Thanks a lot. Oh, you mean just on visual stocks? I don't know. That might be stuff that you have to. I don't remember what the plans are on this. I pay like $10 a month for the premium. I don't want to pull this up because I think it's got my name and private email on it. But yeah, I don't remember what all of it is. Alejandro, if he's here, maybe he could throw something in the chat. But this is visualstocks.com, and if you pay for it, you get some extra functionality within it, including like your favorites list, I think, and a number of other things. I'll have to look that up. I don't actually know the whole spiel very well. Again, I don't get paid anything for this. I just use it and I love it. And then Alejandro is great. But yeah, so I don't know what all ties in with like the premium version that you pay for. It's worth it, in my opinion, though. I would easily pay for this, and do. And that's like, if there's any bills I'm not cutting back on, it's going to be this one. This one I'll keep. All right, Silas, hopefully no bad news. Hate it when that happens. Oh, you mean probably tomorrow with the inflation data. Matt Nintendo, what's the logic behind the volume bars on the right? It's the visible range volume profile, and the logic on it is just that you have a visual way to know where the bulk of the trading volume lied. So you can see here, at least with this Clove one, that the majority of the stock was traded way down here in the 97-cent range. And that volume was actually really light up here. People had just maybe mostly bought. There wasn't a lot. And then all of a sudden, probably some massive dumps occurred over time here. And you can see where we had other trading here. But these usually act as like resistance and support zones. So we want to know where these are at. And that way we know if we're going to have a level where maybe we should do some buying because it's great support, or we should do some selling because it's going to be a strong level of resistance. So that's why we use that. All right. Let's see. The less volume for Intel. Let me see here. What's going on with all the miners? They seem flat to down. Seems odd. Just a week into before the halving. Maybe there's another way to think. I mean, there's a lot of ways to think about it. It can do anything. It depends on macro. The miners are already really oversold in regard to where Bitcoin's price action is. So theoretically, they should be close to a bottom, but if inflation data comes in crazy tomorrow, they could totally cascade too. They're a multiplier to downside and upside risk. CleanSpark was operating on almost a 6x for a little while against Bitcoin. So if you're getting 6x on something, you best believe that you can have some severe fucking downside pain at the same time if it goes the other way on you. So over the short term, they could get hit hard. But if CPI comes in great tomorrow, they could also fly. It will be one of those. Hello, Jesse. Mine's checking sound. Bought 852 shares at 586. I don't like this company. I think they're overvalued. I'll just show you real quick. I know somebody was showing this earlier. So they've got AI in their name. That's fancy. They lose shit tons of money. I shouldn't say shit tons. $18 million last quarter out of $17 million in revenue. So they basically lost more money than they actually brought in at revenue, which takes some skill. They do have larger revenue, And if we go out over the yearly here, it is consistent growth, which I don't hate. What I hate is that during very dark times, they didn't even try to help their net income for the years. So that's why their debt is growing and ballooning, and that could continue to happen unless they have some estimates that show that they're going to get profitable, and they just don't. They're flat on revenue again for the next 2 quarters, and they still want to bleed as much money as they bring in. So, I mean, I just can't call something really a company, especially with a $1.5 billion valuation that only brings in $17 million a quarter in revenue. That's just really fucked up. So I personally would not own the stock. Maybe there's somebody else that can tell you a good reason why you should. I am not one of those people. So I'm sorry to give you some shitty news, my friend. Maytag. Maytag, is that even a company anymore? Awesome content, Jesse. Really enjoy your take on things. Had to sub to your content. Thank you. Thank you, Maytag, just for saying that. Not even needing anything. I appreciate you. Kumar. I want to make some reference to that because I love that, the movies. But anyway, hello, Jesse. Requesting your thoughts on SPCE. That's the space one, right? Is that the other one? Did I read part of one message from the other one? I must have. I overlaid them. Okay. All right. Let's look at this one real quick. That one is better. I mean, still got its own problems, but let's pull it up. So I was comparing that to sound, I think. I don't know. I overlaid 2 different messages. Sorry about that. I need to get this whole thing laid out a little bit better. There's got to be some mods that can do that. So Space, the Virgin Galactic, I think they SPAC this shit too. So Space is probably a good one for them. 23% short interest. Not a lot of optimism here for this company. Massive share dilution from Q2 of 2023 to Q3. Operating expenses are getting lower. Are they making any money? They made, is that a dot? Is that a dot? $2.8 million. And they lost 103. Is that right? Am I reading this, or is that an 1800? No, dude. That's millions. Yeah, I wouldn't own this personally at all. Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much all I got there. Again, this space is hard. Elon Musk said that a while ago, right? Space is hard. These guys can't even necessarily get to orbit, depending upon how you define orbit. And they've got almost a quarter short interest in their company. They're more likely to go bankrupt than they are to be successful. That's my take on that one. So yeah, wow, I guess I just shitted on the last 2. Let me see if I can find something happy to talk about. Let's get over here. Let me see here. Sorry. I'm going to try and be more optimistic, guys. Give me a second here. Got to get back. Let me see. Oh, hey, thank you to Zeke for becoming a member. Appreciate you, my friend. Let me see here. Where did I? Sometimes this thing moves on me. I hate it. Hate it. All right. FSLR. All right, Sealess talking about First Solar. All right, let me look at that. I think I've already done that one, so I'll just pull it up. Let me go over here. I know I did this before. FLSR. Or maybe I got it wrong. How are you saying it? FSLR. God, I must be dyslexic, I swear to God. Or my brain doesn't retain stuff. Let's look over here first. 16% revenue growth year over year. These guys, again, their net income had some wicked growth in it, and their estimates look good. I think we just looked at this yesterday. And we're seeing some buying and selling, so kind of a mixed bag of nuts there. Nothing really, no clear signal on the insider activity. But institutional ownership's going up. Short interest went up a little bit, but it's not a crazy number, so shorts aren't super confident on their position here. I don't know. This is one where I think they benefit from the rate part. And I think I had this actually on my list. If I did not, I'm going to add it. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to. What are they at, though? What's their valuation? $19.7 billion. And they brought in 349 million. That's a pretty good number, and they're averaging that. So the PE, forward PE is 12. That's not a bad number. This seems there's not a lot of instant or retail ownership of it, which I like, and it seems like a play. I'm gonna look at this one, options play. I am gonna try and like I said, I'm gonna try and really devote some time to all of these different plays and understanding them, getting an idea of which ones I want to look at. But I do like the way this one looks just at a glance. I don't hate it at all. Yeah, without even looking at the chart, I don't hate this at all. Matt, Nintendo, okay. Oh, makes sense. So support if below, but resistance above. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Especially if there's strong peaks there. The deeper it is, like if the farther to the left it is, the greater the chance of it being resistance and support. So think of it that way. Hesse Sport Cards, yeah, and help signal potential bottoms. Yep, exactly. Patrick, are you using TradingView for those graphs? Yes, TradingView for my charting, for my TA work over here. And then, I don't know why this one disconnected. And then over here, visualstocks.com. Let's see here. Matt, Nintendo, what's the difference between the orange and the blue? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't even pay attention to it. It's not even worth your time. The Kaiser, just keep it simple with that one. You can look it up. It's visible range volume profile if you want like all the details behind it, but you don't need to. And I don't think it provides any value. The Kaiser Clinic, thanks, Jesse. Tech, YYZ. Your thoughts on DKNG? Looked at that one a few times, I think. Let me just glance. I don't remember right off the top of my head. Did I have that in my notes? I know I did at one point. Oh, DraftKings. Yeah. I mean, the revenue's growing, and they're almost to the point of making money. 44% revenue growth year over year. It looks like a positive trend, but if I remember correctly, the valuation is high. Institutional ownership's going up. Nobody believes in shorting this anymore. So that's all good. That's all good. And then again, I like the spread here on the revenues versus operating expense. It's getting better. It actually looks like it's fairly well run. The CEO, I think, is kind of a dimwit. I think he's still the CEO. That one guy that they were trying to teach him about Bitcoin. Yeah, he's a trip. Is he still the CEO? I don't remember. I'll have to look. Stock-based comp is like 9% of revenue. That's still kind of high. That should come down, but that could actually come down, and they could increase their net income and probably boost their stock. Boston Mass. Oh, no, maybe it's not the CEO. Jason Robbins. I don't know. Maybe that guy sold it to him. I don't remember. It definitely seems like it's becoming pretty well run. But the valuation, let's see, 21.6 billion is still relatively decent. So to me, I don't know. I don't like the fact that it's still so high. But not a bad. I mean, the company looks like it's run good. I just think the valuation's high. You ought to know. Another trader, oomph. I don't know what that means. Is that a stock, or what are we talking about? Or is that about a comment from before? ABC 789 HODL, Ionic Quantum Computing. Yeah, they're still good. I think I pulled them up yesterday. I don't know how much they've changed. Let's look at the chart. And I might call it here in a little bit, so I'm going to do last call. So if anybody wants anything, you'll have to probably throw out some kind of tip for me to be able to pay attention to it, because I'm probably going to wrap in a couple. Ionic Q. So again, this one was in a breakdown zone, and there's a big gap in volume here. So I was saying it could go to like the sevens, and then the valuation is like 1.75 billion. And if we look over here, the revenue is like 6.1 billion, but they lose shit tons of money. $42 million in a quarter. I mean, that's not like a huge amount, but it's not making money. And I don't like the flattening off over 2 quarters. Even though that does look like that can happen seasonality-wise, it looks like that could be seasonality, and then Q4 could pump again. But, and this is growth. I mean, 60% growth is a good number. The thing I don't like is as they're growing, they're losing more. I just don't understand companies like this. I've really got to understand the vision if they're willing to lose money in an economic environment like we have right now. I've got to understand the vision. Henry Padilla, good afternoon, Jesse. Lisa Marie, YouTuber stocks with Josh was putting a lot of swing trade videos out on Sound last year. Yeah, I'm not a big swing trader. I want to invest in companies that can make me a shit ton of money and that are good and undervalued. That's kind of my jam. Henry Padilla, mind blowing. SMR might not make it to that one. Vagabond, hey Jesse, do you think Rivian will eventually make it profitable? No, I think they're going to go bankrupt. I was optimistic about them, and then I saw last quarter earnings. I did a video on it. You can look at it. I was not impressed by them at all. And just looking at like their projections, they're going to need to raise massive capital, just to survive. So they have okay looking vehicles, man, but they're not even going to make it to their next generation, I don't think. And they need to. But yeah, I don't know. Vagabond. Oh no, that was you. Andrew Soranakis. I probably just butchered your name. ISRG, if possible, thanks. I think I already did that one. I think I already did it. So maybe check back in the video, but let me see if there's anything else here. I am probably, let me just see. I'm going to read a few more of this. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Another trader recommended. HXF Gaming, what's your view on ICP? I actually bought 7,000 worth today. I believe this is a new position in your... Yeah, I just bought it because I think it has fundamentals behind it. It's still a lower cap. I think it's like 8 billion or something, maybe a little less. I didn't put much more thought into it beyond that. Just as they never really had a good technical bounce. I'll show this one real quick. They never really had a good technical bounce on ICP in the last market. They just sucked. They got no love whatsoever. But I think this cycle, it seems like from a social aspect level, they might get a bounce. But again, $7,000 is such a small amount of money. It's just kind of just getting it out there. This isn't even a good chart, but I mean, you could see this drop here from what was it, 3,000 roughly, all the way down to like $3. So a 99, is that a 99.9? A 99% drop at least, right? Like a painful fucking drop. And they've launched pretty good and are seeing some price action here. Again, I don't know. I think it could have some fundamentals in it. It could have a positive narrative that it's never really had. And it's, 7.47 billion. But I haven't thought about it much more beyond that. Again, my shit coins, I don't spend a lot of time on it. I find that, I don't know. I find that if you do enough research in the beginning to find what you think are going to be the decent ones, you can kind of just let it go for a while, reference other experts, which I'll do, and then sell, after at roughly the appropriate time. Because I can kind of gauge the altcoin cycles and the Bitcoin cycles, and they bounce back and forth between each other when they really start going. So pretty good at finding my exit play, and I'm gonna exit a lot of this shit, irregardless of the actual asset. They're just a ride. They're a vehicle. I don't give a shit about them, and 99% of them are trash. So you heard it here first. I'll tell him to dump it. All right, I think I'm probably done, guys. I think I'm gonna call it. Let me just see from recent comments here. Wagabon, thank you. Andrew Sarakis, think you did INSP. Okay, well, hey man, tomorrow I'm happy to take a look at it. Just hit me up. Like when I bring the feed up, I do it usually hours or even earlier in the morning before the feed starts. And if you get in there with your comments, then you can add it, and I'll look at it first thing tomorrow. But I think I'm gonna call it for today. I got taekwondo with my daughter tonight, so I need to get to that pretty quick. Anyway, you guys take it easy. Tomorrow is going to be crazy, hopefully in a good way. And stick around for the market recap, or come to the market recap tomorrow. It should be fun either way. It should be very interesting. You guys have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Bye.